It's homecoming night at Maple Grove High School. Tonight, a great matchup in high school football. Top 10, Class 6A team. The Wayzata Trojans come to Maple Grove to take on the Maple Grove Crimson. Hello and welcome to Maple Grove Stadium. John Jacobson along with Ryan Iverson. And Ryan, it's a terrific matchup. 2 4-1 teams, each having lost to Centennial over the last 2 weeks.
Well, and I think as a fan, I think we were all shocked when both of them lost to Centennial, but I think you have to give Centennial some credit. They played really good football against both of these teams. You know, Maple Grove was able to come off of that loss, John, and absolutely get a pounding last weekend. The question is, can Wayzata come off of that loss tonight and bring it? It's going to be a great game tonight. I'm really excited for it.
If you had to pick one key for each team, what would it be?
I think it's Wayzata being able to run the football. Maple Grove's defense is so good. They're so athletic, especially with their linebackers, and they bring pressure. If they can stop the run and force Wayzata into second and long, third and long, I think that's going to be the key. If Wayzata is able to control the line of scrimmage, run the football, and then set up their play action, they have so many deadly weapons on the outside. To me, that's the key here to watch.
Let's look at our key players, and they're both playmakers for their team, starting with Wayzata senior wide receiver Drew Berkland.
Well, he's just a winner. You know, we've talked about it in other broadcasts that we've done of his. You know, for 3 years he was a great defensive player, kickoff, punt returner, and this year he's a wide receiver, and he's just explosive. He's just one of those guys, if he's able to get one-on-one on the outside, he's going to win that 99% of the time. And not only can he make catches, but every time he touches it, he can score, and he's just explosive. So that's going to be a matchup tonight to see how Maple Grove defends him on the perimeter.
And for Maple Grove, senior running back Derek Jamison, he can score a lot of different ways, as rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and 2 punt returns for scores this year.
Well, he's one of those, when you're preparing for this game, John, you see he averages 10 yards per carry. You think that's got to be a misprint, because they've played some good defenses. It's not. He's just that dominant. We saw them in the first game of the year against Osseo, and I think at one point he had touched the ball maybe 5 times and 3 or 4 touchdowns. So he's just electric. So I'm so excited to see his offense and his playmaking ability against Wayzata's defense. We got great players all over the field, great coaches, great atmosphere, great broadcasters. We got everything tonight. It's going to be fun.
We talk about playmakers on offense, but it certainly can apply to the defense too. And Wayzata down their starting outside linebackers tonight, Tommy Heyman and Fox Knudsen, both out injured.
Well, and they're great players, and they're very good tacklers. That's one of the things. Both of these teams do not miss tackles, John. They're very well coached, very well prepared, great fundamentals, and not having 2 of your starting guys, especially at outside linebacker, where you have to defend the pass and the run, both of them. That's going to be keep an eye on who fills those positions and how well they do tonight tackling the football.
Should be a fun one here as they celebrate homecoming at Maple Grove. The Trojans and the Crimson come your way live next here on CCX. Kicking off a few minutes before 7 o'clock of homecoming, Maple Grove, as Ben Jamison gets a foot into the ball. Wayzata, and this will be taken at the goal line. They fake the handoff. It's Lenort on the return, and he will only get out to the 10-yard line. Good downfield coverage by special teams for Maple Grove, and that's where Wayzata will start. Ryan Iverson on their first possession of the game, 90 yards from the end zone.
Well, 2 things, John. There's the homecoming dance to get to after, so get this game started. And 2, didn't it look like his foot was in the end zone on that? I thought that should have been an automatic touchback, but nonetheless, really great special teams and poor starting field position here for the Trojans.
First down and 10 for Wayzata. 4-1 in the season, coming off a 6-0 loss to Centennial at home a week ago. Ryan Harvey is a 2-year starter at quarterback. He saw his numbers. They've been very good, and This guy's been good too. A 4-yard gain on first down for Julian Alfaro Diedrich. He was a wide receiver last year, remember, but he's been a workhorse running the football this season. That's his 104th carry already this year in 5+ games.
Well, they have a nice 1-2 punch with Alfaro Diedrich and then Dante Cockrell Jr., who's a little bit bigger, more power. So they got a little speed and power combination in the backfield.
Gain of 4. It's 2nd down and 6. Ball on the left hash for the Trojans. Opening drive of the football game. Berkland slot right. Harvey play action, looking to his favorite receiver. He's going to go to the outside. Berkland's there and makes the catch out of the 37-yard line. That's a pickup of 22 yards and a Wayzata first down. As we look at the starting lineup for each of these teams on their offense and defense. There's Harvey.
Well, Ryan Harvey, the thing that stands out to me, John, is 71% accuracy. I mean, that is just unheard of in high school football. And they don't throw a ton, but when they do throw, they are usually efficient and usually for big plays.
Diedrich trying to get outside and finally gets bumped out by Mika Vey at the 37. Somehow got a gain of 1. He was hit a couple of times behind the line of scrimmage and managed to get a yard.
Well, it's runs like that, they aren't going to show up in the stat line. It's a 1 or 2 yard game, but, he eluded about 3 or 4 tackles in the backfield. So rather than 2nd and 15 or 16, you got 2nd and 9. Those are big plays.
Harvey at the 32 out of the shotgun. His running back fell down, so he's going to keep it. Goes up the middle and gains a couple of yards. A broken play, and he's able to gain out to close to the 40-yard line. So Harvey, who does not run a lot, had to there and picks up 3.
Yeah, heads up play by Ryan Harvey that time. Taking a bad situation, at least making something positive. You set up a 3rd and manageable here. And these 3rd and longs, I mean, with Maple Grove, John, the way they move their linebackers around, you're going to see a lot tonight. 4 down linemen, but you're going to see 2, 3, sometimes 4 linebackers potentially blitzing. So you just don't know where that pressure is going to come from.
3rd and 6. Harvey, drop back. He'll go deep, and it is incomplete. Through the hands of Lenort. Pretty well covered by the Crimson. Jackson Powers among those on the coverage, and it's 4th down, and Wayzata will have to punt.
Well, great job by Powers that time, staying deep. Do not let these guys get behind you. They're explosive. And again, pressure on the quarterback. Maybe forced Harvey to get rid of that ball maybe a half a second early. Great coverage downfield. And I'll tell you, how do you stop big plays in the passing game? You got to get after the quarterback. Maple Grove did a nice job.
Theo Smith in to punt. Derek Jameson back to return it for Maple Grove. Pretty good rush up the middle. Smith just got it away. Jameson will let it bounce, and he'll take a Wayzata bounce. It is going to roll inside the 10, all the way down to the 5-yard line.
What a punt. With you got 3 or 4 Crimson coming at you full speed. I thought that was going to get blocked from up here. He somehow got that off, and he got a boomer off.
That's a 55-yard punt with no return.
Well, and I think in a game like this where you have 2 really evenly matched good defenses, field position, John, is going to play a role. And you saw, if Maple Grove's able to block that or get a short punt, they're going to have a short field. Instead, you get a great punt, and now you bury the Crimson in a long field here.
Jacob Kilzer Jr. took over the quarterback duties midway through his sophomore year. Good numbers for him this season. They like the downfield passing game as they go, of course, on a short route, the first pass. They get a completion, get some breathing room, and 6 yards out to Nick Barber to the 11.
Well, and what I love about that is in a big game like this, it's homecoming against a rival. Your adrenaline is just rocking and rolling. Make an easy pass, right? A little 3-step drop, quick out. You get your quarterback some confidence. And with Kilzer, one of the things we didn't show on there is he's also been really good at running the football this year.
Excellent running quarterback. 2nd down and 4.
And no interceptions. That he takes care of the football too. That's a big thing for this offense. Give
us to the fullback, and that's the Tanner Allback got out to the 16-yard line before pushed back. It's a gain of 5 and a Maple Grove first down.
Well, and not only that, but you move the chains, you get a little breathing room now behind you. And one of the things that we talk about all year is, both of these teams, I think, do a really nice job of balance on offense. Maple Grove, 145 yards passing per game, 234 yards rushing. So they're capable of really moving the football and beating you either, through the air or ground and pound.
First and 10 from the 16. Give it to Allbeck again across the 20 and out to the 23 for a gain of 7. Tackle made by Drew Streeter, a senior and one of the captains for Wayzata. So we get the starting offense for Maple Grove and the starting defense tonight for Wayzata. As I mentioned, down a couple of starting outside linebackers, and Noah Richlick and Adam Cherney will be, it's like next man up, right?
Yep,
Be called on to do their part tonight.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting, too, the Crimson, we've seen Tanner Allback, only 10 carries coming into the game, already 2. And you get a feeling they're just doing that to try to set up this young man right here.
Jamison hit. And there's going to be no gain. Got maybe to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Wayzata ready for number 3. Third down and 4 to go.
And I think there's going to be such an attention on the Trojan defense to say Derek Jamison is not going to beat us tonight. My guess is Jacob Kilzer is going to have to make some plays either with his feet or through the air. Try to soften that defense up. You're going to see a lot of white jerseys in the box on first and second down.
Empty backfield now, and Kilzer out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 4 from the 22.
Keep an eye on him getting this first down with his feet. If there's nothing there, he's not afraid to run.
Quick throw gets the completion out to the 35-yard line. A first down. That's Devin Hornbacher. This is his second catch of the season. And he picks up 13 yards and another Maple Grove first down.
Is it me or does Kilzer just look so comfortable back there? 3rd and 6. He looked very nonchalant, very casual, cool, under, no duress. Great job up front. He just plants and delivers a strike. That's a great confidence builder. Nice rhythm so far offensively for the Crimson.
New set of downs from just outside the 35. Maple Grove started back at their 5-yard line. Play action. Going right to the sideline, and the catch is made. That's Hornbacher. They go back to him again, and he gets another first down grab. This one picks up 12 yards.
Well, watch his route. We're not going to necessarily see it here, but I thought they were going to go deep. He ran a great route, really running the defensive back off and then stopped on a dime. Great timing catch pattern. And a beautiful catch, too, diving out of bounds.
Great grab. First down and 10 from the 48.
And a great throw. You put it right where only your guy can get it, too.
Give us to Allback, and he'll just get a couple of yards out to midfield before he's stopped. Tackle made by Noah Richlick, the junior linebacker. Second down and 8.
Yeah, his 3rd carry already for Allbuck, and you get a feel there might be setting up a fake there with an option or something to the outside with Jamison, but they're obviously committed to running in between the tackles with the fullback here to start the game. What a great atmosphere out there. I was walking through the bleachers, John, before the game even, and it felt like a college atmosphere out there. Just a great game.
Pitch to Jamison, ball on the ground. And looks like Wayzata has recovered. And it's Trojan football. Recovered by Blake Justison, number 22.
Well, turnovers can be such a key in a close game like this. Let's see. I couldn't tell if the pitch. Yeah, you can see the pitch was behind him just a little bit. That's always tough for a right-handed quarterback, pitching to the left like that. And you got to lead him just a little bit. And if you're Derek Jamison, John, you've got to get 2 hands on that football. I know you don't want to stop your momentum, but first thing first, secure that football. And what was a really promising drive quickly ends, and now you have a short field here for Wayzata after the turnover.
First and 10, Trojans at the Crimson 45. Harvey, and the give, and dropped in the backfield for a loss of 3 is Diedrich. Mika Vei into the backfield in a hurry, along with Aiden McMahon.
Mika Vey, a tremendous defensive back, playing up at the line of scrimmage. Great group tackling. That's what it's going to take to get Alfaro Diedrich down. He's not very big, but he's just elusive, and he got a motor. He just doesn't quit. You're going to have to take 1 or 2 guys to tackle him.
Let's look at Matt Lombardi, 11th year as head coach at Maple Grove after spending a long time as defensive coordinator and assistant head coach at Wayzata. Now Wayzata takes a timeout before this play.
How about this for Coach Lombardi, John? 6-0 against his old team. Yeah. That's pretty. There's not many coaches out there that can say they're undefeated against Wayzata.
On Saturdays, a lot of times I'll watch Alabama football, and inevitably they'll put up the graphic. Nick Saban against former assistants.
Yep.
He's got a winning record by a huge margin against all of them.
No, and we say this a lot when we're covering high school sports, but I really believe this tonight. We have 2 of the premier coaches in all of Minnesota. Lambert Brown, used to be the athletic director here at Maple Grove. He's taken over, won a state championship. And Matt Lombardi, coaches around the state just talk about respect and his knowledge of the game and the way he is with kids. And we've gotten to know both coaches well, obviously, over the years. I have a tremendous amount of respect for both of them.
And Lambert, 2019, they're still defending state champions, right?
That's right.
And I think they feel like they have the personnel, like, hey, we can do it again here in 2021.
Well, it's funny, John, when we found out we were going to do this game a few weeks ago, I've told people both of these teams to me are state championship caliber.
Harvey throwing, trying to get it to Berkman, and it's intercepted. Picked off on the sideline. That is Nick Anderson with the pick. Jacob Anderson with the pick for Maple Grove, and Wayzata turns it right back over.
Well, I love what the Crimson are doing. They're not getting beat deep. They're playing it safe. They're back deep. That ball, which is really rare for Harvey, he's usually so accurate with the football. That one underthrown. And a really nice job by Jacob Anderson in a perfect spot. And you know what I loved? How many times you see a defensive back, John, in great position, but they don't turn around and see the ball. He got back, saw it, made a great play. Back-to-back turnovers here in this game.
Crimson get it back for their second possession with just over 6 minutes to go in the first quarter from their 25. Hills are under a big rush, and down he goes back at the 15-yard line. Sacked by Tim Hess, senior defensive lineman, another Trojans captain. Back to the 16, officially a loss of 9.
Yeah, you can see at the top of your screen there, unblocked. It looked like Jamison was supposed to maybe pick him up, a little play action, and Hess didn't buy it for a second. And I'll tell you, these first downs for both offenses are huge. If they can't get positive yards, I think it really changes the possession here. Wayzata now probably knows you're in a passing situation. They can pin their ears back and try to get after the quarterback.
And now Maple Grove will use its first time out of the half.
When you get a feel, too, both coaches may be sensing how important scoring first is. We've seen early timeouts, making sure they're in the right play call, the right defense called. I think whoever can get off to a good start, get that first score, maybe take a lead. Both of these teams are used to playing with the lead, and they get a lot of confidence when they are up by a score. John, I got to get a pair of those Zubas that we saw there, those Wayzata Zubas.
Be great in those, huh? Look at the top 10 rankings in Minnesota coming into this week. Lakeville South, who won last night, they had a Thursday night game. Now 6-0. Shakopee at number 2, then Eden Prairie, Stillwater, and Wayzata Maple Grove 5-6. Centennial, 2 losses early, but they're rolling now at number 7.
Well, they have a defense, and their offense isn't explosive, but they just take care of the football, and they dominate time of possession. Goes
a short pass to Jamison. He'll get back. The yardage lost, almost broken for a big gain. Got tripped up and does get a good gain on this play of a dozen yards. Looks like 13 yards out to the 29.
Well, you can see what a great call. Short, easy throw, well blocked. And the thing is, right there, if he's able to break that, he's got a lot of green in front of him. And we've seen him with that breakaway speed, but he's also got some pretty good power, too. He's able to break a lot of those tackles.
But a big gain. Now you set up a third manageable.
3rd and 6. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left for the Crimson. Trojans see if they come with any pressure. There's 4 men. Kilzer gets it away, and the completion to Jamison, and he's got a first down out just past the 35.
It's almost like Maple Grove is sensing that Wayzata's secondary, giving them plenty of cushion. That's a couple of pretty quick, short throws with a good 5 or 6 yards of cushion. Those are easy throws and catch, especially on 3rd down. Nice conversion.
From the 36-yard line, it's all back. And he'll gain 4 yards out to the 40-yard line. It's his 4th carry so far here in the first quarter.
And you can see the concerted effort. I'll tell you, when you're a defensive player, a defensive coach, if you have to respect that fullback between the tackles all the time, you're going to occupy sometimes 2 linemen and maybe a linebacker or 2, always trying to defend that. It's just going to open things up for Jamison as the game progresses.
Jamison trying to go inside, and he's going to be wrapped up and spun around for a loss. Dominic Heim, sophomore linebacker, on the tackle for loss. Back to the 37. It's a loss of 3.
And you're going to see number 12 coming right through here. Dominic right there, unblocked, just reading the play. And that's linebackers. I'll tell you, if you got good linebackers, a lot of times you'll see good defensive linemen eating up the linemen so that they can run free to the ball. And then if you got a free shot, you got to be a sure tackler, and Dominic certainly is.
3rd and 9 for Maple Grove. Converted on their first 3rd down in this series. Kills her, roll out right. Now we'll keep the ball to the 45. Got a first down the sideline before he's bumped out of bounds in Wayzata territory at the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 23 and a Maple Grove first down.
And it kind of looked like he knew he was going to keep that from the start. You see Jamison out in front trying to pick up some blockers and showing off great speed. Came into the game with 265 yards rushing, so a very capable runner. And I'll tell you, when he tucks it like that, he becomes really hard to guard because he's a very good athlete.
First down and 10, Maple Grove from the Wayzata 40. Been a very entertaining first 9 minutes of play with no points yet, right? Kilzer, run it to the left this time, and Wayzata ready and drops him for a loss of just 2. Andrew Westermeyer, first one to get there and had to help. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
I'll tell you, when they go 3 wide receivers, we've seen them go empty backfield too with 5 wide receivers. As a defense, you're so focused on taking the pass away that you don't expect Kilzer necessarily to beat you with his legs, but he is very capable of doing it. He's got good size too for a quarterback. You're not going to see him slide very often at 6'3", 190 pounds, well built.
And moving on the left side, and that's going to be 5 yards against Maple Grove and our first penalty of the game.
Number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty.
Well, those are big. Those, beating yourself, false starts, holds, things like that, turnovers. That's going to what this game is going to come down to, John. I think you have really 2 evenly matched teams. Those little things, who can make the fewest mistakes.
Makes it 2nd down and 12 from the Wayzata 42. Empty backfield for Maple Grove.
And look at the cushion. You're seeing a lot of Wayzata defensive backs. Let's see if they just try to throw short.
Kilzer under pressure again, and down he goes. It'll be the 2nd sack for Tim Hess. It's in a big first quarter. Loss of 10.
Yeah, we saw Hess on the left side earlier. This time, look at the left side of your screen. Just a great swim move. Gets beyond, uses his hands really nicely. And good speed, too, to catch kills. That's a big play.
Wayzata's definitely got some size. Has good size defensive tackle at 6'1", 220, but excellent quickness, too, and able to get to the quarterback in a hurry.
On that defensive line play, a lot of it's with your hands, how you utilize your hands.
3rd and 22. Kilzer has time this time, going deep, but overshoots his intended receiver, Newell. Closest player was Alex Hart, the defensive back for Wayzata. It'll be 4th down, and Maple Grove will have to punt for the first time. First incompletion for Kilzer.
When you can tell, too, that both teams are saying, listen, we'll give some of the short stuff up. We are not getting beat deep in the passing game. Both teams done a nice job of staying deep. And that's the thing, when you're playing good defenses like both of these teams are, you got to be patient, John. You got to kind of just take what the defense gives you and sustain drives. And you got to be able to sustain a long drive, you can't have penalties or sacks.
Sam Peters into punt. It's going to be fair caught back at the 24-yard line. That's where Wayzata will have it for the 3rd time here in the first quarter.
Both teams have two possessions now. Now you're into the game, right? The nerves, the excitement, the adrenaline. All right, now we're in the heart of this game. Now what adjustments are going to be made? You're seeing what each team's doing defensively, and then how do you counteract that?
First on handoff. This is Cockrell's into the game on this series. Gets his first carry and carries it 7 yards out to the 31-yard line. Dante Cockrell Jr., senior running back. Good first down run.
Yeah, it was, and he doesn't get near the carries, about half as many carries as Alfaro Diedrich. But what I love about it is they keep each other fresh, and they're a little bit different. Cockrell Jr. is going to just pound on you. He's a big back at 235 pounds. Just kind of a nice little contrasting style, and it keeps both of them really fresh.
2nd down and 3. They go back to him again, and he this time just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Is all. Maple Grove defends it well. Lee and Josiah Atkinson in on the stop.
Yeah, Atkinson's very disruptive on that defensive line. 245 pounds, he's strong, but he's athletic too.
The loss of 1 back to the 30. And now 3rd down and 4. Harvey trying to get everybody in position. And they've got to burn another timeout. Well, no.
Quarter, yeah.
It's the end of the quarter. So we will go to the 2nd quarter. Scoreless. Good football game so far. Wayzata and Maple Grove on CCX. Back with more right after this.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
John Jacobson and Ryan Iverson back. Beautiful Friday night here at Maple Grove High School. We've been lucky. I think our worst night for weather so far, opening night of the season, that Osseo Maple Grove game that UNJ did. It was rainy and cold, and we've been blessed with beautiful weather since.
We had Providence Academy Breck, and it was
that's right.
Driving rain.
Of course, I missed that one. How would I forget? Mason South is in, and he tackles Ryan Harvey on 3rd down. South had a huge game a couple of weeks ago against Minneapolis with 8 tackles for loss, including 5 sacks. Gets in there on Ryan Harvey, and Wayzata will have to punt.
Well, that's a good season for most players. He did that in the game, but his name is very appropriate. He gets north and south. Look at him just break through that offensive line. And a nice job by Harvey just holding on to that football there. He didn't see it coming, and great pressure. Both teams getting after the quarterback tonight.
Big rush. They did get a piece of it. And it's going to go out of bounds at the 20-yard line. It looked like it was Bernier Gaines, 41, who got a piece of it.
Oh, that's like a turnover. Those are huge plays. They almost got the first one in the first quarter. You can see the snap a little bit high. Not easy to do. It's hard to, everyone thinks it's easy to block a punt. It is not. He did a great job of just getting his hands extended. And you can see they're fired up. They identified that they could go after the punts tonight. You see they almost got that first one. That time they got it. Great field position here starting at the 20.
Gaines with the punt block. Maple Grove set up in the red zone already. First down and 10 at the Wayzata 20-yard line. Well, Wildcat here. Jamison, he's going to run it to the left. And he'll gain close to 5 yards inside the 16. His first positive yardage he's had on it, now 4 carries in the game.
Well, I think he's so much better when he gets to the outside, when he can get into some space. He's very shifty, he's very fast, very powerful, but he's got, if you can get him some room, I like them running him outside the tackles a little bit.
Kilzer back in under center here. Jamison, the deep back in the aisle, give it to Allback. Got hit as soon as he got the ball by Noah Richlick, and he's still able to get positive yards. He's a strong running back, and he's able to get 3 yards out of that.
Yeah, that was some physicality right there. That was a good pop, and Allback did a nice job of keeping those feet moving. Still got positive yards, but a good tackle by Richlick.
3rd and 3 from the 13. Although they have a good field goal kicker, I got to believe this is 4-down territory here. Kilzer keeping and not fooling Wayzata. He maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Yeah, a little play action there, and it almost looked like you could see Jamison coming to the outside, that it might be an option, but that time, clearly Kilzer was going to keep it from the very start. And well defended by Wayzata.
Chase Ullum on the tackle.
He's their leading tackler, 48 tackles coming into the game. He's a great linebacker, good speed, got to the outside, and again, both teams very sure tacklers.
And they will go for it on 4th down and 3 from the 13. Kilzer will hand the ball back.
Wow.
He's hit. He's not going to get there.
Wow.
And Wayzata's going to take over on downs. Got hit by Richlick. And then Dominic Hine came in, Drew Streeter there, and Wayzata holds.
That's a great defensive stop. You get a block punt, your backs are against the wall. Interesting decision there to run it up the middle, and Wayzata was ready for it. And look at all the white jerseys there, team tackling. Great defensive stand, both sides playing great defense.
Trojans, after having the block punt come up huge in those last couple of plays, and they get the ball back for their offense now.
John, I would like to see Derek Jamison in the ball in his hands out in space. You know what I mean? And he can get to the outside. I just feel like he could get you 3 to 5 yards every time. And maybe they thought they were going to get Wayzata, because maybe Wayzata was planning for that too. They tried to get him off guard, but it did not work.
Diedrich in the backfield. And he'll only get a couple of yards out to the 14-yard line. Yeah, we talked about the guys on offense, but you already get the feel and the way that these teams have played against Centennial. This is going to be a grind-out game here tonight. I don't think we're going to get a ton of points.
Well, and the thing is, both of these teams, they just don't make mistakes. Like, if you're going to score a touchdown against them, you got to earn it. And if you're not going to make a big play or a great play, you're just not going to score against them. They force you to beat them. They don't beat themselves. Where sometimes a poorer team will make a mistake, a guy's wide open, or they're not good tacklers.
Diedrich is wrapped up, and down he goes. Sawyer Scanson, number 7, in on the tackle. Senior linebacker, no gain.
Yeah, 35 tackles coming in the year. And Maple Grove always has really good linebacking play. And Coach Lombardi does a great job of moving them in and out of gaps, right and left, outside, inside. You just never know where they're going to be coming. And they are all great athletes and good tacklers.
third down and still 8 to go for Wayzata. Inside of 8 minutes to go in a quick moving first half. Harvey, roll out right, some pressure, has got time, throws down the sideline. Birkland, did he hang on to it? No. What are they going to say here? He certainly didn't have the ball at the end. He didn't have his helmet either.
Yeah, you're seeing Wayzata's trying to say that was a headshot. Referee's talking it over, and they end up throwing the flag. You know, you see that at every level from the NFL down to high school. A defenseless player, if there's a contact at the helmet, it's going to get called.
Crimson coaches and players not happy about the call. You look at it again.
And you see the pressure, too, coming from Alan Jow. Almost got home there. Let's see. It looked like he was going to make the play here.
Yeah, that's a shoulder-to-shoulder hit, though. I mean, his helmet came off, but I don't think it was a hit to the helmet. Do you?
No.
I thought there was pretty good coverage by Jackson Powers, but we have the luxury of replay.
Yep.
Oh, personal foul on the. I didn't see what the personal foul was on Wayzata, so Maple Grove avoids whatever penalty they thought should not have been thrown against them. I didn't see who got whistled on Wayzata's side, so it's offsetting penalties. One of the offensive linemen whistled for personal foul on Wayzata. So forget that happened. It's 3rd and 8 again.
Well, again, you just see Maple Grove again doing a nice job staying back, not letting anyone behind them, kind of trying to take away those big plays. See if Wayzata adjusts and maybe tries to throw short, try to get one of their playmakers the ball and let them make a play after the catch.
Harvey, some pressure, trying to step away from it, floats it to the sideline. And Lenort is out of bounds. It's 4th down.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing Harvey running for his life. Great pressure coming right up the middle, too. You see Aiden McMahon, number 23, bringing the pressure, forcing Harvey out of the pocket, maybe trying to get rid of that ball a little bit earlier than he wanted to as well.
Smith had a 55-yard punt in the first quarter, had his last one blocked down at this end of the field. High snap, pressure, but he gets a quick kick away. And taken by Jamison at midfield, and he'll return it 7 yards to the 43-yard line of Wayzata. It's a good field position for Maple Grove here. Turned away on downs inside the 15 on their last possession. And get another crack at the end zone here inside Wayzata 45.
Well, both defenses doing exactly what they do really well. Great tackling, stopping the run, and not giving up big plays in the passing game.
Pitch goes to Jamison on 1st down, and he goes down back at the 46-yard line. It'll be a loss of 3. Wayzata's defense has been solid so far again tonight. Richlick, we talked about him. He's one of the guys who would not have been starting normally with Heyman and Knutson, normally the starting linebackers. He's been outstanding.
He has, and I'll tell you, when they run to the outside, you got to set that edge. You cannot let anyone, especially someone like Jamison with that speed, get to the outside. And great team defense running down the line. Really well defended.
2nd and 13, Crimson from the Wayzata 46. Kilzer will hand off to Jamison. Nice hole up the middle inside the 40, down to the 37-yard line. tackled by Westermeyer, but a nice gain after the first down loss. We'll set up 3rd down and 5 and a pickup of 8.
Well, great call. You're thinking, 2nd and long, passing situation, and you get great pressure up the field by the defensive line for Wayzata, and you counter that with a draw, and you get Jamison ahead of steam. Picks up big yardage.
Still no scores. We wind down toward the midway point of the 2nd quarter. 3rd down and 5 for Maple Grove. Kilzer. Play action, time, throws downfield, and in and out of the hands. Hornbacher had it, would have been a first down. Incomplete, it's 4th down.
Well, he dropped it, but again, he ran a super route. You can see he just runs number 21, Zach Boutwell, down the field, stops on a dime, comes back to the ball. That ball was put right on the money, and that's one he's going to wish he had back. You can see at the top of your screen, great pass protection, too, by that offensive line. That's one of those, just like we see in basketball, where you just take your head off the ball for a second.
Wayzata will use a timeout. A second charge timeout. Maple Grove was set to punt it away.
I don't wonder now after this timeout if Maple Grove, if Coach Lombardi just says, you know what, with the way our defense is playing, you're at the 38-yard line, 4th and 4. Do we just go for it here?
Look at the district standings in the Metro Gold in the North Division. Centennial now the 4-1 district record. Overall 4-2. They had a loss to Centennial outside the district. Then Maple Grove, Minnetonka, and Wayzata. Minnetonka's only loss came here a couple of weeks ago to Wayzata, to Maple Grove, I should say. STMA, we'll see them next week.
Yep.
They're 3-2 overall. Blaine played last night and lost. Champlin Park and Totino, tough season for them.
Yeah. Which is weird. You're used to seeing those two at the top of that screen, but Minnetonka's had a good season, and Maple Grove absolutely just manhandled them when they played. And this is where you got to be careful of a fake, and I think that's what Coach Lambert Brown was saying. Let's just be careful. We take away a fake.
Peters, high kick, fair caught for, back inside the 10 of the 8. So they'll play the field position game. Diedrich on the fair catch, 30-yard kick with no return. And Wayzata the football back again.
Well, it just seems,
inside their 10.
It just seems like Maple Grove is pinning Wayzata, within their own 20-yard line, and Wayzata unable to get some first downs here. So it's been a short field for Maple Grove. And just both defenses just been absolutely dominant here tonight. I know offense sells, John, but I like these old throwbacks where you got great defenses and you feel like offensively someone might have to do a trick play or something to spark their rhythm and maybe get some points on the board.
First down and 10. Inside give, and not much doing to gain maybe of a yard out to the 9 for Diedrich. Faro Diedrich's longest gain so far was his first one tonight at 4 yards, averaging 6 yards a carry, coming in with 7 rushing touchdowns.
And you saw Kiers Brevik, number 33, do a nice job just eating up offensive lineman right there at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go.
Diedrich out and Cockrell in the backfield. On second down, Harvey throwing. Got a guy just overshot him. That was Brooklyn, the intended receiver, and couldn't quite connect.
Well, and Bernier Gaines, number 41, was back there, and a great move. I was watching that matchup. I knew they were 1-1 on the outside. Brooklyn had the step. Harvey just overthrew him by about a half a yard. And he got rid of the football quick. You can see if that ball is about a half yard shorter, Berkeley might be off to the races. You see the Wayzata reaction, the coaches, they knew they had him, had the right play called too.
3rd and 10 now for the Trojans. And tough sledding for their offense since their first drive of the game. And now a delay of game. Their first penalty, other than we had the offsetting personal fouls in the last series, but other than that, the first penalty tonight on Wayzata.
Well, Coach Brown was saying they penalties killed them against Centennial last week. They had a bunch of penalties on the offensive line. They've been much cleaner here tonight.
And now they're backed up inside their 5, Ryan.
And you wonder too, do you just run the ball here, or do you take a shot down the field?
They're going to give it to Cockrell. He's got an opening. He's going to first down and much more. Out past the 20, breaking tackles all the way out. The 28 ball comes out. They're going to say he's down. Looks like it was forced there by Jacob Anderson, who had the interception. Ends up with the football here, hoping for a forced fumble and a fumble recovering, but they're going to say Cockrell is down. And it's a first down and a huge gain out to the 29.
Oh, really well blocked up front. Look at the room there in the middle. Let's see if we can see when this ball. Kind of hard to tell from that angle. Look at the blocking up front. Cockrell Jr. showing off his speed.
On the ground, Cockrell, and wrapped up for no gain there.
What a play call. We'll draw up the middle, 3rd and 15, and they end up getting about, 22, 23 yards on that play.
Yeah, I got 25 out there. Let's look at that run one more time, see if we can see where the ball is.
When the ball comes out.
Yeah, it's real tough to tell from that angle.
Well, you could tell Anderson was trying to rip it away. It was just hard to tell if the ball actually came out before Cockrell Jr. was on the ground.
And he gets his 3rd consecutive carry. Maple Grove's interior defense not allowing much. It's now 3rd and 7 after 2 short runs.
Well, that first down was huge, just to give you some breathing room, maybe shift field position a little bit.
Just their 2nd first down tonight.
And keep an eye on the top of your screen. You got Drew Berkland again, one-on-one on the outside. Let's see if they try to go at that again.
3rd and 7. Harvey throws and gets the completion over the middle for a first down. Jack Simon, a sophomore tight end, with his first catch tonight. It's a huge one.
6'3", 210, a big target, only a sophomore. But how about the placement of that throw? Pretty well defended too, but Harvey put it right on the money. And I think that's what they have to do, attack the middle of the field a little bit. That might open up their threats on the outside.
Back they go to the ground, and Maple Grove with the stop. Scanson and friends in on the tackle for loss on Diedrich.
How good is Scanson? He's just all over the place. He was in the backfield about the same time Alfaro Diedrich got that handoff. That was a great play. So far, Maple Grove getting nice penetration between the tackles.
2nd down and 11 from the 43. Under 3 minutes to go in a scoreless first half. Harvey wanting to throw, doesn't find anything downfield, still on his feet, and then down he goes back at the 35. South and McMahon coming in and getting this sack on Harvey.
Well, the problem, John, you could see they were trying to go deep to Berkland up top there, and you can see just not enough time to allow that route to develop. And that's where Harvey, if you don't get that initial look, just throw it. You're outside of the pocket, get rid of it. Don't take the loss on that. Just great pressure again. You see those linebackers coming up right through the gaps between the tackles, and Harvey just not enough time to let those deeper routes develop.
I didn't see a flag. You saw at the end on the replay, Harvey taking exception when McMahon seemed to step on him rather than over him.
No sack, and they're replaying 2nd down.
Don't know what just happened there, but we'll replay 2nd down. I never saw a flag come out, and if one had come out, that wouldn't be where we are right now.
Yeah, we didn't get an explanation either. That was almost like that last play didn't happen.
All right. Diedrich got nothing, by the way, on that run. And it's third down for Wayzata. At the 46, third down and 8 for the Trojans.
And again, you're just seeing a great job by that Crimson, that front four with those linebackers, just no lanes whatsoever between the tackles.
Cockrell across midfield, falls down at the 49-yard line. Dropped by McMahon there, but it'll be fourth down and still 3 to go.
Now this will be interesting here, because keep in mind too, we've had a punt blocked, we had some high snaps, so it's not a guarantee you're going to get that punt off. I don't wonder if Wayzata doesn't just run that clock down, maybe go with a hard count, try to get him to jump offside, see if you can get a free first down. If nothing else, you let that clock run.
If they can get White, I don't think they're going to go for it here from midfield. I think, well, we'll see. I think you're right, trying to get. Well, now Harvey's got to run a play, throws down the sideline. Oh, and he gets the completion. How about that? It looked like, we're going to snap it, and then I've got to make a play, and then look who he finds. His number one receiver, Drew Berklund, who makes a great catch and pretty good coverage down the field, all the way down to the 21-yard line, a gain of 28.
I was shocked that they ran. It almost looked like everyone else was shocked, but Harvey does a great job. He took the lick in there, and they, that time in a great position, just didn't get his head turned around, and what a play, what a grab by Berklund.
Gain of 28 on fourth down. And Wayzata now in position perhaps to put points on the board. Minute to go on the run on first down to the 19-yard line. Clock running. Cockrell got 3 yards on first down. 50 seconds to go. Give it again. Cockrell is inside the 15-yard line. Before he goes down, they're bringing up a third down and 4 to go. Under 30 seconds to play. Wayzata with 1 timeout left. Andy Brudney is their field goal kicker. Harvey, in some trouble. It gets away from pressure. Is going to toss to the back of the end zone and throw it out of play. Didn't want to get a pick there, and so put it in the spot where only his guy was going to have a chance to catch it, but it was well high and out of bounds. And now Wayzata with 14 seconds. They send out the field goal unit. Well, it looks like they will. No? Yeah, Andy Brudney is on, the 6-foot senior kicker. Number 9. This will be an attempt of 32 yards. And now they'll use their last timeout. Brudney 3 for 3 this season on field goals, 11 for 12 on extra points. So this one certainly not challenging at all distance-wise for the senior. Wayzata using its final timeout, 14 seconds to go. Ryan Iverson will talk with both Lambert Brown and Matt Lombardi at halftime tonight. It's homecoming, a little bit of the Crimson Connection dance line. Homecoming royalty court will be introduced, and Maple Grove Hall of Fame class of 2021 also inducted and introduced at halftime here tonight. Harvey's the holder. Brudney will attempt a 32-yard field goal. Trying to get points on the board here before halftime. Down, the kick is up, and it is long enough, and it is through. And with 8 seconds to play in the first half, Wayzata has taken a 3-0 lead. His 4th field goal of the year. How big was that 4th down pass from Harvey to Berklund? 28 yards that set them up just outside the 20. A couple of runs by Cockrell, and Wayzata able to put points on the board. Well, I'm sure the message here is to keep it low, or even a kick out of bounds would be better than a deep kick and a possible return by either Anderson or Jamison for Maple Grove. They're the deep men, standing at about their 10-yard line. It's Nate Stevie who does the kicking off. We'll see where he boots this one. He will get it deep, and it's taken by Jamison back at the 8-yard line. 25 and up past the 30, the 32, 1 second left on the clock. So we'll see how close to the vest Coach Lombardi wants to play this. You hand off and go in down 3-0, or I'm guessing air it all out perhaps, and take a shot and hope for a long play or a defensive penalty. Line of scrimmage, the 31 of Maple Grove. 23-yard kick return by Derek Jamison. Jamison in the backfield along with Kilzer, 3 receivers to the right. And Kilzer, with a strong arm, will air it down, going for Cole New, and incomplete. Covered by Alex Hart, and that is halftime. Good first half of football. Not a lot of points, and if you're an offensive coach, maybe not what you were looking for, but certainly entertaining first half from a defensive point of view, and a great way to go into halftime for Wayzata. They go up ahead 3-0. Let's go down the field. Ryan Iverson standing by now with Lambert Brown.
Hey, Coach. Unbelievable first half, 3-0. How big was that field goal there right before half?
Well, it's nice to put points on the board. We've been, moving the ball, but doing some things to hurt ourselves. So nice to get some points on the board and go in the halftime with the lead. We got to come out and fly around the second half.
Are you surprised the defenses, both sides, have been dominant so far in the first half?
I know these are 2 good teams playing each other. It's when you're in this kind of game, offensively, it gets tough to execute, and you got to execute. And I think both teams probably feel like we left some things out there, and I'm excited to get a good chance to come back out second half.
Hey, last question. That 4th down, was it a broken play or was it designed? It almost looked like you weren't going to snap it. What happened?
We'll have to talk about that one after the game. It worked, and I'm happy.
All right, good luck, Coach. Thanks. Back to you, John.
All right, thanks very much, Ryan. Doesn't sound like that's the way it was supposed to go, but it turned into a 28-yard gain and set up the Wayzata field goal. 3-0. Wayzata leads Maple Grove. Homecoming at Maple Grove. We'll take a timeout and more football from Maple Grove High School on CCX right after this.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Head coaching records at all high schools.
Let's go down to the field now. The Maple Grove Hall of Fame class for 2021, starting with Doug Anderson, who was just introduced.
186 losses and 8 ties. He has 13 MSHSL state championships in adapted sports. In 2006, the MSHSL Adapted Athletics Coach of the Year. And in 2009, the National High School Athletic Coaches Association Coach of the Year finalist in special sports and adapted athletics. Congratulations, Doug Anderson. The next inductee is Mr. Kurt Carlson. Kurt Carlson was a student athlete at Maple Grove for the class of 2007. Kurt competed under coach Ron Jacobson, who helped push him to become a better person and athlete. Top accolades for Mr. Carlson include state championship performances in 2006, 2007, and in 2007, voted team captain. In 2007, he was voted Minnesota's Swimmer of the Year. Kurt went on to swim for the Minnesota Gophers, where he was a 4-time NCAA championships qualifier and a 2-time Olympic trials qualifier. He lives in Lake Elmo, Minnesota with his wife, Lauren, and 2 children. Congratulations, Kurt Carlson. Our next inductee is Dory Dutois. Dory is a private voice teacher who taught hundreds of Maple Grove Senior High School students since 2001. She is an unsung hero in our Crimson community. Her work with students individually has aided the success of the music program more than we know. She is every student's #1 cheerleader beyond just the time spent together in her studio. She attends every Maple Grove Senior High concert, music performance, and is genuinely excited for the growth of each and every student. Congratulations, Dory. Our next inductee is Andy Fornacier. He's a 2000 Crimson graduate who started playing for adapted athletics in 7th grade in fall of '94. He played 6 years of adaptive soccer, floor hockey, and softball. He holds 18 letters and All-State 12 times. Team captain 11 times. He's a 2004 grad of Southwest Minnesota State University with a degree in history. After graduation, he started working in transportation. He resides in Crystal, Minnesota, and his parents still live in Maple Grove. He spends his free time four-wheeling in northern Minnesota and playing golf. Congratulations on your induction, Andy. The next inductee is Jamie Horton, a 2006 graduate of Maple Grove Senior High. She recorded 49 goals and 27 assists for 76 points as a senior Crimson hockey player. She became Maple Grove's all-time leading scorer with 166 goals and 120 assists for 286 high school career points. Following her career, a graduation from Maple Grove Senior, she was a 4-year letter winner with the University of Minnesota Gophers women's hockey team, winning the WCHA championship. She was an assistant coach for the Lakeville South High School hockey program for 3 seasons. She worked as a tax preparer at PricewaterhouseCoopers for 5 years before starting as an accounting consultant through Compass program for the last 2 years. Congratulations, Jamie, on your induction. The next inductee, Mr. Greg Martin. Greg Martin was a student athlete from 2003 to 2005 and a coach from 2007 to 2012 for the Crimson. He loved Friday Night Lights on the football field and competing on the basketball court. Greg's athletic accomplishments include 4-time captain, 2 times in football, 2 times in basketball, a 2-time state participant in football and basketball, 5-time all-conference, 3 times in basketball, 2 times in football. All-state football in 2004, a Mr. Football finalist in 2004, Minnesota Vikings All-State in 2004. He is the current all-time leading receiver in yards, touchdowns, and receptions. Greg was recruited as a walk-on at the University of Minnesota in football before opting to focus on his studies, where he received several degrees with a focus on educational leadership. He currently serves as a middle school principal in Chaska. He resides in Plymouth with his wife Erin and daughter Harper. Congratulations, Greg, on your induction. Our final inductee, Lisa Wananen. Lisa played 3 years of Crimson Girls soccer, where she was a tireless and aggressive midfielder. She was a 3-year letter winner, earning all-conference honorable mention in 2001. She's a multi-year letter winner in Nordic skiing, and she won the cross-country state championship in 2004, breaking the state meet record. She won the 3,200 meter state championship in track. She ran cross-country at the University of Washington and graduated with a degree in journalism and wrote for several major papers in Seattle. She's a mother of 2, and congratulations, Lisa, on your induction. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2021 Crimson Hall of Fame inductees.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Teams beginning their warm-ups for the start of the second half. It's 3-0 Wayzata leading Maple Grove. Let's go down to the field, and Ryan Iverson standing by with one of the new Hall of Fame members, Greg Martin.
All right, Greg Martin, congratulations, Hall of Fame. How does it feel?
Thank you so much. Yeah, just super humbling. Really honored to be a part of Maple Grove history and be here with a lot of my friends and family. And my coach Hansen showed up, so it's just really unreal. It just feels great.
What does it feel like, nostalgia, coming back to this and seeing this great crowd, this great stadium, knowing you were a part of building Maple Grove football? How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels great. A little bit nicer board. We played grass back when I played in there, so it's great. And, I got a chance to talk to these young men last night at the Pasta Feed, and it just brings you right back. You know, I've been gone for almost 15, 16 years, and it's just a lot of great people here, a lot of great memories.
Well, pretty impressive. Here we are in 2021, and you're still the all-time leading receiver in yards, touchdown, catches. I mean, those kind of records usually get broken. I mean, that's something to be really proud of, that they still stand to this day.
Well, I was lucky enough to have Mitch Brecky, who is also here. Not a lot of people have that great a guy and great a quarterback to help them out. So, yeah, just super humbling, and the records are there to be broken, and there's a lot of great players out here. I'm sure it'll be broken soon.
Most important question, they need some offense tonight. Do you have one more series left in those legs?
I'd love to get out there, but I don't know. There are a lot of good athletes, a lot better than me, that's for sure.
And who's this beautiful young lady?
This is my daughter Harper. She's 2 years old, and this is her first time at a football game, so she's loving it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. Enjoy the night. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Ryan, and congratulations to Greg Martin and all of the inductees. Look at the highlights from the first half. An early fumble for Maple Grove, and Wayzata perhaps hoping they could do something with it, but instead they turned it back over, an interception. And Maple Grove getting the ball back on the pick by Jacob Anderson as the defense is setting the tone. Then a block punt. Vernier Gaines getting the punt block, and Wayzata's defense still holding, though. Maple Grove going for it on fourth down inside the 15. Here's a look at that, as led by Noah Richlick. They were able to make the stop on fourth down on Tanner Albeck and turn Maple Grove over on downs. Here's that broken play just before halftime. Ryan Harvey, and a great play by Drew Berkland making the catch. That set up this field goal a few plays later. Andy Frudney just inside their right upright to make it 3-0. So look at the first half numbers for this game, and not a lot of offense. 107 total yards for Wayzata, 80 for Maple Grove, each team with 1 turnover. Back to the field we go. Ryan standing by now with Coach Lombardi.
Hey, Coach, I know you got to get back in there. What'd you think of the first half there?
It was fun. It was a physical half. I think they got to make up for coaching. I should have taken the field goal, so I told them that. I said, you got to sometimes overcome your coach. And so, but other than that, I thought we played really well on defense, other than a few alignment things on third down. I didn't think we were smart on that last drive. But other than that, I thought we played super. And then offensively, we just got to play more physical. We are small up front, but they got to move their feet. Feet win all the time. People who are desperate don't move their feet. So if we move our feet, we'll be fine.
What a great atmosphere tonight. Are you having fun in this environment?
It's awesome. I tell you what, it's filled from on both sides and a homecoming night. Hopefully we finish in 24 minutes in a good way.
Awesome. Well, good luck. Thanks, Coach. Yep. All right, back to you, John.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks to both coaches for taking time with us here at halftime, as Ryan will make his way back up here to the press box. Good first half of football, especially if you like defense. I guess if you're looking for a lot of touchdowns, maybe this isn't your cup of tea, but we still got time to put some more points on the board here in the last 24 minutes of play. 2 top 10 teams in Class 6A. To wind down near the end of the regular season, just 2 regular season games left after tonight. Next Friday for most teams, and then that Wednesday of the following week wraps up the regular season. And for 6A teams, they will then have 9 days until their first games later this month. And I don't think we can count on beautiful weather like this come late October in Minnesota. Here it is a little after 8 o'clock, and still a very comfortable evening on the second Friday in October. A little bit of a breeze, but still a very mild 64 degrees. Maple Grove will receive the kickoff to begin the second half. Rudney will kick it off. Anderson and Jamison back deep for Maple Grove. Kick is away, and it'll be taken by Jamison back at this 8-yard line. Across the 20 and out to the 24-yard line. That's where Maple Grove will start to begin the second half. Jamison is a running back, just 1 yard net in that first half on 6 carries. Their leading rusher on the ground was Allbeck, who had 22 yards on 6 carries. Kilzer, actually, the quarterback, had 26 yards on 3 carries, and 23 of them came on 1 run. Kilzer 5 of 8 passing. He's been sacked twice. 50 yards total through the air. First play of the second half, and Jamison is met in the backfield and dropped for a 3-yard loss. They have been back there a lot tonight, and another great stand up front by that Wayzata defensive line, Ryan.
Yeah, and he's again, Tim Hess in that backfield, big number 95. He's come to play tonight. That play looked like it was slower to develop than it in the backfield. Yes. Yeah, I'm curious to see just adjustment-wise. You know, both coaches were really focused at halftime. You could tell they know they got a competitive game here.
They will get a look occasionally in the backfield. Is Jamison staying in on this down? We saw that week 1. Remember, Bay had the big touchdown run as this ball was thrown too high for Nick Barber and incomplete. Barber had 1 catch early for 6 yards.
I really think this game is going to come down to, John, turnovers. If a defense can get a big turnover, and 2, you know, who's going to make plays in the passing game. We saw in that 4th down, Berkland make that big play, and that led to their only points, the field goal right before half. And I think Jacob Kilzer is going to have to make some plays through the air to get this Crimson some points.
3rd down and 14 for Maple Grove from their 21. Darts over the middle, broken up and incomplete. Westermeyer, and on the coverage, On a ball intended for all back, and it's 4th down. A quick 3 and out for Maple Grove to start the half.
Not the start you want for Maple Grove coming out at halftime. You can see Kilzer, he's got some arm strength, doesn't he? I mean, he put some sauce on that ball, just really well covered. Great job that time by Westermeyer, just seeing the pass and getting in that passing lane, getting a hand up, deflecting it.
3rd punt for Peters. A little bit of a rush, but he gets the kick away. There's a flag down back by where the return team is. Fair caught for back at the 49. Let's see what happens here.
Well, usually when that flag's coming out in the back, he's seeing, as the guys are running down, possibly a hold on Wayzata there on the outside. That was a busy halftime.
There was a lot going on, wasn't there? Good to hear from Greg Martin. He looks like he's still in his playing weight. He looks great for what, graduated 16 years ago and had some great teams here. And they're going to pick up the flag.
I still would like to know, John, in the first half, they redid that one down. I still don't know how.
Puzzling.
Or what happened there.
On what looked like a quarterback sack. No penalty. Wayzata with the football, and here could be a key series. Ryan, they got 3 points right before halftime. Now you get the ball in midfield and try to put yourself up by 2 scores if you can get a touchdown here.
The way their defense is playing, you got to figure if they can get a touchdown here and go up 10, that can be hard for Maple Grove to catch up.
Diedrich, he has not had a lot of success either running the ball, much like Jamison on the other side. It's just been a lot of crimson jerseys right around the football on the line of scrimmage. No gain for Diedrich. 9 carries for him tonight, 4 yards.
Yeah. Other than Tanner Albach for Maple Grove, a couple carries up the middle, neither team between the tackles has been able to effectively run the ball. Both teams, they just do such a nice job of stopping the run.
On 2nd down and 10, Harvey throwing, gets the completion in traffic to Berkland. Broke 1 tackle and then is driven back and pushed back behind the line of scrimmage. Sawyer Scanson get on the tackle along with Christian Lodholtz.
When I think
the 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, both teams, those shorter passing routes are there. Neither team is allowing the big play down the field. I think both teams just got to adjust and take those short gains and just take positive yards.
3rd and 6 from the 46 of Maple Grove. First offensive series for Wayzata in the 2nd half. They give to Diedrich, and a follow-up block, and McMahon turned him back along with Cade Cook. And it's a short game, but it'll still be 3 yards to go for a first.
Cade Cook, he's an undersized linebacker, 5'9", 165 pounds, but man, did he bring the lumber. That was a big hit there. Looked like Diedrich might be able to sneak through, and there you see good team tackling. Cook and McMahon doing a nice job.
And Wayzata, I think, here doing the right thing. We're going to play the field position game a lot tonight, Ryan, until somebody's got to go for it. And Wayzata, with the lead, will try to pin Maple Grove back deep.
Both teams, I think, just trusting their defense, saying, hey, we don't think you can march 80 yards down the field and score on us.
It's fair caught at the 12-yard line. Jackson Powers on the return, and that's where Wayzata pins Maple Grove back. A 31-yard kick. No return. So the result that Wayzata was hoping for, to make Maple Grove try to march down the field. Reminder of our play of the week on CCX. Each week, 4 plays from the previous week. 4 top plays in prep sports are up on our website for you to vote on. Go to ccxmedia.org, go to the sports page, and then click on Play of the Week to cast your vote. I don't know, a lot of defensive plays tonight. I don't know if we have a Play of the Week candidate yet.
Well, that 4th down play that Wayzata had might be. I mean, that looked like a broken play.
Kilzer backpedaling, throwing for Barber, and incomplete. Hart thought he should have had an interception there.
I've been impressed with both teams, their secondary. Haven't you, John? I mean, you see so often in high school football, a guy get beat, wide open, deep. These guys are just not making mistakes on the back end. And you see Alex Hart comes up, but he does a nice job of recovering, not letting Barber get deeper than him. And then the other thing that's impressive, they're getting their head around, trying to make a play on the ball. You just don't see that too often with the secondary at this level.
Alex Hart almost had a pick there. Second down, give it to Jamison. A little bit of a seam, but not much. Looked like more as it was starting to develop. He got tripped up and finally brought down by Streeter out at the 16-yard line. It would be a gain of 4, bring up 3rd and 6.
Well, and I'll tell you, Maple Grove too, John, on the year, they have so many explosive plays, right? I mean, how many times have you seen Derek Jamison with these long touchdown runs, or, even Kilzer with long runs or great throws down the field? Both defense forcing the other offense to just play by play, series by series, pick up first down after first down, and neither offense so far has been able to sustain it.
3rd and 6 for the Crimson. Kilzer Jamison almost lost the handoff. Got it. It's got a first down the right sideline, 40-yard line to midfield. Now a cutback to the 40. Jamison to the 30.
Look at the speed.
Jamison is going to go for a touchdown.
Wow.
74 yards and a score, and Maple Grove is in front. And he almost fumbled it in the backfield.
Were we just talking about explosive plays, too? Great call, 3rd and 6. Nice little draw coming back on the weak side. That ball was on his backside, too, John. And he was able to secure it. And I'll tell you what was amazing there. He got faster as he kept going. Some people slow down. He got faster. And there's that explosive play, so needed for this offense. Great job not to fumble that ball. Look at that speed. He just outruns. Great little cut here. And a couple Trojans had the angle on him too, and he just ran away from him. That was a great play.
Connor Fournier adds the extra point. And Maple Grove in front, 7-3. Look at it again.
Well, watch the ball here. Right after he gets it, see that ball on his back there. He's lucky he didn't get hit there. And this play, speed, and then watch this cutback. He kind of stops, turns, and you see a number of white jerseys that had the angle on him. He just outran them all. That's exactly what Coach Lambert Brown said. We got to take away his explosive plays, and you see why. Look at that speed.
I think the fans are into it now with the stand shaking. Jamison with his 10th rushing touchdown of the season. 13th touchdown overall. Look at the students here tonight.
What a great crowd. The energy out there, it almost feels like a college game out here. But that's why you got to keep feeding a guy like that the football, because kind of like Adrian Peterson, all it takes is that one pop. Anytime he touches it, he has that ability, and he showed it right there.
Lenort on the kick return. And much like his one early in the game to start the game, this one does not even get to the 15-yard line. Brought down by the Crimson there. Well pursued. And so now Wayzata down for the first time tonight.
Well, it's complementary football. Now your defense is energized. You have a feeling when your defense is playing lights out. You see an injury here on the, looks like Aiden McMahon down.
Boy, this would be a big loss if it's more than just a cramp or a.
He's been all over the field tonight. Great linebacker. I hate when they hold their knees too. I hate seeing young players holding at the knee.
Didn't see what happened, and sometimes it can be just you turn wrong, or I don't know that he got caught up with the tackler.
Yes, I mean, knee injuries can just be a plant. You plant funny.
One of the captains for this 2021 Crimson team.
You see number 23, right? Oh, you see him plant on that. Yep.
Yeah, the way you react, that's not a cramp.
I hate that.
We will take a timeout. We'll come back. Well.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Hayden McMahon being helped to the sideline. We talked about Wayzata being down a couple of players. This would be a huge loss for Maple Grove on defense. Jay Suzelle, one of their starting linebackers, was hurt a couple of weeks ago at Centennial. Out of the starting lineup tonight. Now Maple Grove's defense got to step up. They do have the lead, but all of a sudden a hush over the crowd instead of all the noise and momentum they had coming out of the touchdown run by Jamison.
Well, and you can only hope. I mean, you could see the way McMahon planted there that maybe it's a sprain, or sometimes it kind of locks up on you, but it did not look good. And you certainly hope for that young man that it's nothing serious.
1 yard gain for Cockrell on first down. Play action. They give it to Berkland on the throw. He breaks a tackle. Here's a guy into the opening, and he gets out to the 40-yard line. Who do we talk about in our pregame? Berkland and Jamison. And it's Berkland coming up with his second big play of the night. The first one set up the field goal, and this one gains them 24 yards.
And again, there's that shorter pass, right? Just a little easier pass. And what that does is it negates a pass rush, and it gets your quarterback in a rhythm, and you get your playmakers the ball. And my defensive coordinator, John, in high school always said big players make big plays in big games. And when your offense is struggling, as you saw Jamison on his team, and that time Berkland.
Back to the ground game, and they just have not been able to run between the tackles tonight. That defense has been solid for Maple Grove. A lot of guys in on tackles all night. Here's Breivik among those in on the stop there. Berkland tonight, 4 catches, Ryan, 77 yards.
Yeah, and that big one on that fourth down that set up that field goal, but they got to keep finding ways to get him the rock, let him try to make plays. There you go.
Harvey's going to go deep this time to Lenore, and it makes the catch. Great grab just over the head of the defensive back, Bernier Gaines, and Lenore with a great catch, his first tonight.
Watch him use his body, John. Kind of shields the defender right there. You see that left arm kind of just shield him, and then just great concentration. Watch the one-handed. We saw Berkland make a great one-handed catch earlier in the year, one of the games we did, and that time Lenore answers. That's huge.
That's a gain of 29. Ball at the Maple Grove 31. Cockrell had a little bit of an opening, but closed and got inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line, a gain of 3.
Well, you saw Kate Cook just coming. It looked like you said it, John. There was an opening there. These linebackers just fly at the ball, though. They close that seam down. Such a hurry.
Second down and 8 from the 29. And hand off and a gain to the 27-yard line, a pickup of a couple of yards. Diedrich back into the backfield.
When you got to think here in this field position, it's got to be 4-down territory, right? A field goal from this distance would be pretty long. You think, God, if we could get 3-4 yards, set up a 4th and short, you got to go for it. Got to try to get points when you're this far into the territory.
3rd and 6 for Wayzata. Two receivers to the left. Harvey looks that way, throws that way, gets Berkland in some space, breaks a tackle, and he'll be brought down just shy of the first down. It'll be 4th down. And a good open field tackle by Michael Ross, the junior safety, who prevents this from going for a 1st down.
Well, you can just see how slippery Drew Berkland is. 2 guys had a play at him, but what a tackle coming up to make that, Michael Ross.
On 4th down, they go for it. I don't know.
It's going to be where they mark it.
Maple Grove certainly thinks they got the stop there. Oh,
I think they're going to be short. I can't see where that football is marked. That's going to be close. See, Coach Lombardi said that's short.
And Maple Grove takes over on downs. They're going to measure now. Let's look at it again. It was Harvey on the keeper. Like a good pressure up the middle. A lot of guys collapsing, and they do take over on downs. How about that defensive stand?
Great pressure up in those A gaps. That's where, as a quarterback, you've got to sometimes see where those linemen are set up and maybe go to the B or the C gap, and you got to stay low. Great push that time by that front 4 and those linebackers on that Crimson defense.
Well, Maple Grove getting the ball back after Wayzata had driven from inside their 15 to down inside the Maple Grove 25, and now Maple Grove takes over 1st and 10 just outside their 20 with under 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. A 7-3 Crimson lead. Kilser handing off. Tanner Allback a couple of yards, spins out to maybe the 24.
When you think too, John, the way the Maple Grove has played defense tonight, do you be conservative on offense and just try to pound it, try to take care of the ball, try to take some time off the clock, just trusting that great defense that they've played tonight?
Second down and 7 coming. That group has done a really good job tonight with the exception of one play. A touchdown run by Jamison on the last drive. Play action. Kilser flushed out of the pocket now. Looking downfield, throws to the sideline, and incomplete. It'll be 3rd down, intended for Cole Newell.
Oh, great job by Kilser that time, buying time, trying to allow more time for his receivers to get open. And I'll tell you what, he didn't take the sack, threw it at almost out of bounds where only his guy would have a chance to get it. That's a heads up. That's a senior play right there. You see the pressure. He's coming, rolls out, but look at his head, always downfield looking for it. Instead of taking that sack or throwing to the where there's defenders to maybe make an interception. Almost throws that away. That was a smart play. You live to fight another day.
3rd down. Kilser. Roll out, looking the same way again. Now he's going to tuck it and run.
Wow.
25 to the 27-yard line. Out past the 30. Where are they going to knock him? No, he's going to mark him down short. Yeah, he'll be short of the 1st down. Is it entertaining 5-yard run, but he is short of the 1st down.
What an effort. I thought he was going to get sacked and then for sure 1 or 2-yard gain. Again, I think eyes downfield looking and then makes that decision, splits 3 defenders. And look at him just fight for those extra yards. That's great. Look at the sideline, fired up. You want to fire up your team as a quarterback, you fight for extra yards. Your guys love it. That was a big-time play.
Wayzata will use its first time out here in the second half. If they didn't have the right personnel, and if you're a Trojans fan, you hope that doesn't come back and bite you later using a timeout here.
When you have a feeling this is going to go down to the wire, so those timeouts might be at a premium. Wouldn't you love to see a fake here? Just
that would be a gutsy call.
I just, you can't do it with the way your defense has been playing, but it. You know, tonight is probably the best I've seen high school football in a long time on tackling. We've just seen great tackles, sure tacklers, no missed assignments. I mean, just if you love old school defensive football, this has been an absolute blast.
Jacobs off the side of his foot. We'll see where they mark this one. Wayzata will have pretty good field position. I'm going to walk it up to about midfield, 49-yard line of Wayzata, where they will take over. Good field position again for Wayzata.
Well, kind of the same thing as last week for Centennial, just unable to get that running game going. And, you know, when we've seen Wayzata rolling, John, it's because they're in a great rhythm. They're running, and then they mix that play action with a deep play or explosive play in the passing game. They just haven't been able to get that run game going enough to open up the passing game.
First down and 10, Trojans from their 49. Diedrich, and he gets into Maple Grove territory, but barely got a couple of yards, and that was it. Sawyer Scanson in on the stop for Maple Grove. Bryce Tiber, 82, also there. We'll give him 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. We'll huddle now for Wayzata. They'll give it to him again, and he's hit and dropped. Caden Volkel, who came in when McMahon went out, makes the tackle. He's got to come out because his helmet came off, but he was the one that made the stop for a loss of 1.
Yeah, and he was blitzing. He timed it perfectly and got great push there, able to get in the backfield.
3rd and 8 now for the Trojans.
And it seems like, too, all night, Wayzata in these 3rd and long. You haven't seen a lot of 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. We've seen a lot of 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, or even longer.
Harvey, step up, and down he goes.
Great coverage down the field that time. I'll tell you what, it looked like Harvey might have decided to try to run for it, but that changed quickly. Kiers Breivik was there. We saw Scanson there as well. Those linebackers are speedy. They just close down gaps in a hurry.
Breivik with the tackle for no gain. Wayzata, after getting the ball on their 49, gains 2 yards total in 3 plays and have to punt it away again.
And again, that long developing pass just,
it's a high snap. It's over the head. Now the punter, and he's got to cover it back at the 17-yard line over the head of Theo Smith. He had no chance to pick it up and punt it. And Maple Grove catches a big break, and they've got it inside the 20-yard line of Wayzata.
You've kind of seen that coming tonight, John. We saw the first punt a little high, almost get blocked. And you see that one way over the head. Great job there just getting on the football. But what a big break for Maple Grove. They're going to have excellent field position.
First down and 10 for the Crimson at the Wayzata 17-yard line.
Oh, this is huge. This could be the game right here. Wayzata's defense, big stop here is definitely needed.
Pitch goes to Jamison, back. Now throw downfield, wide open. It's a touchdown. How about the throw? Newell to Kilzer. Touchdown, Maple Grove. You know, we were at practice. Jay Wilcox and I went and did a preview of this game the other day at practice. They were running the Wildcat, and Coach Lombardi said, "Don't shoot this."
Yeah.
Now, they didn't run that particular play, but they were running similar plays to this, a little trickery. And how about that?
Did we not say we have to see a trick play tonight? And Very similar. They call that Philly special in the Super Bowl. You remember the Eagles ran that against the Patriots and ran to absolute perfection. That ball hung in the air a little bit, but Kilzer did a great job keeping his eye on it and then making a move. That's what you do. You get that big turnover-like play, you got to capitalize. What a play.
The pitch back by Jamison to Cole Newell, and a perfect pass.
Yep.
And all Jacob Kilzer had to do was catch it.
I'll tell you what, though, it's one of those where you know a defender's coming, you have a tendency to take your eye off of it. Kilzer, great concentration.
That might be our play of the week.
There you go. There you go. And I'll tell you what, that's going to give your defense even more confidence, and it's going to make Wayzata maybe feel like they got to take some shots here to jumpstart their offense, get something positive going offensively.
14-3, Maple Grove.
An explosion for this game, right?
Right.
But what a great call. You know, good coaches, you know, Mike Grant at Eden Prairie always had that ability to kind of sense when to go for the jugular, when to call that reverse or that double pass. And when you call them, you don't use them a lot, but when you call them, they got to be effective, and that certainly was.
Jamison's kick handled by, no, he hands off, Lenort does, to Diedrich, and Alfaro Diedrich gets out to the 24-yard line, 25-yard line. And the Wayzata now down by 2 scores. Time running out here in the third quarter.
Yeah, now you do. You start looking at that time. You know, especially how the Crimson's defense has been playing, just not giving up any big plays. Wayzata needs something positive, and they got to sustain a drive. They got to get a score, get some points on the board.
Journey, always the tradition here at Maple Grove in a lot of schools to start the fourth quarter. Maple Grove putting up 2 scores in that third quarter. Look at that last turnover that set up this offensive series for Maple Grove. The catch made out on the flat, and then the ball stripped away and recovered by Maple Grove.
Cade Cook got it.
Now 3rd and long for the Crimson. Kilzer's got time to throw. He's got a man open in the middle of the field. That's Newell, trying to dance his way to positive yardage and couldn't do so. It is a pickup of the play of 8 down to the 32.
Well, what Maple Grove, John, has to overcome is it almost feels like a turnover, right? Because they thought they had that score. They get it taken away. And they're going to attempt here a really long field goal. This is going to be about a 49-yard field goal.
Connor Fournier's got a strong leg, a former soccer player. Scanson late getting out on the field, but he will get there. He'll be the edge guy now, Maple Grove. Not going to take a chance, so call timeout here. This would be a long field goal try, indeed, for the junior, or for I think they're going to stick with the field goal. I think they're committed to it here.
Yeah, the play clock was getting down there to 3 or 4, and I think if you would have added a 5-yard delay of game penalty, obviously probably put you out of field goal range. But this is a heck of a field goal attempt here. 49 yards in high school football does not happen very often. And here for Wayzata, you know it's a long field goal. You know it's probably going to be a little bit lower. You're telling your guys, get those hands up, try to get a piece of this.
Volkel the holder. Fournier from 49 yards out. Now definitely long enough. Oh! I guess not. Off the crossbar. A foot short. It was dead on in the middle and just short. Fournier, and Wayzata will take over.
Wow. That's still pretty impressive to get it there, 49 yards. About 6 more inches. Watch the reaction. He thinks it's good. Everyone thinks it's good. Oh, he can't believe it. Great effort, though.
He needed that Jason, the Justin Tucker bounce, right?
It's a game of inches, and that's such a cliche, John, but it's so true. It really is. Game of inches.
Still, Wayzata avoids what briefly we thought was a Maple Grove touchdown. Just missed on a field goal. And now in the high school course, the touchback, he goes back to the 20, doesn't go back to the spot. Harvey in some trouble, gets away, throws to Berkland and makes the completion on the catch from, it's a 7-yard gain. Harvey to Berkland, Bay on the tackle.
Well, Harvey, nice job just avoiding pressure there, stepping up, feeling that rush coming, able to get out of it, keeps that head up, those eyes downfield. Not a huge play, but a nice win on first down.
Big rush from the right side. Harvey able to get the throw away and gets a completion. What Breivik. And it was laying into Harvey, and he got the throw away to Cockrell and is able to complete it for a 4-yard gain and a first down.
Well, that's just kind of that internal clock that some quarterbacks have. You can feel it. We could see it developing. You knew it was just a matter of time before Breivik got there, and right before Harvey takes the hit, he gets rid of it, picks up the first down.
Trojans need a bunch of those here. Harvey now will go deep, trying to get it to Berkland. It's intercepted. Picked off at the 22-yard line by Powers. Jackson Powers, the junior, at the 42-yard line rather than Maple Grove back in possession again.
Well, you had Vahey in coverage, great coverage, nothing deep, and then you bring over Powers from the middle. And this ball just a little bit underthrown and more towards the middle. Great bracket coverage there. This Maple Grove defense, I'll tell you what, if there's a player of the game, it's this defense as a whole. Every one of them has just made great plays. They've been in great positions, too. Great team defense.
Maple Grove getting the ball back at their 42-yard line. Leading it here early in the fourth quarter, 14-3. Jamison trying to pop it and gets 5-6 yards, which tonight qualifies as a pretty big run.
And you could see he was close to breaking that one and getting to that second level there.
Ball came out at the end, but Jamison was already down.
I think now you're going to see Maple Grove, John, every play, that play clock's going to be down to under 5 seconds. They know the clock is their ally.
Andrew Dotson-Rod, offensive lineman, comes limping off. Gus Gernig will go in his spot. Kilzer, it looked like he wanted to hand it off and has to eat it and takes it out to midfield. Does gain 3. It's setting up 3rd down and 2.
We've seen a couple of those where it looks like almost a broken play, but Kilzer making a heads-up decision, just takes it north and south. Great instincts, still able to get positive yards.
Third down and 2 from midfield. Clock running under 9 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter.
Well, and you could just see the energy level on that Trojan sideline. Not used to trailing. Obviously lost last week 6-0, but down 14-3 here. They got to keep that energy high. You got to keep battling here.
That timeout taken by Maple Grove. I am sure the Crimson would love to have points, but I think if they can get a couple first downs and just eat 2-3 more minutes off the clock, they would take that. Facing a 3rd down and 2 here from midfield. Another interception. The Trojans have been hurt by turnovers. Had a fumble on the last drive after a catch, although it didn't end up costing a point. Now the interception had technically not a turnover, either the blocked punt or the snap over the head, but in essence turnovers. One of them did set up a score. So there's been mistakes for Wayzata that have hurt them tonight. They need to stop here on 3rd down and 2. And it's Jamison. Out of the Wildcat, and there he goes! 50 yards for a touchdown. No flags. 20-3 Maple Grove.
I thought the difference there in that direct snap is he got a good head of steam going right at that line of scrimmage. It doesn't need a big gap, John. He just exploded through that line. You can see the speed. Off to the races, and Maple Grove in complete control of this ball game. I think they're fired up too. Homecoming, big game, big rivalry. Playing the number 6 team in the state. Fired up.
Fournier for the extra point. And it is 21-3 Maple Grove.
There was no hitting the crossbar on that one. That would have been good. But watch this, Wildcat, high snap. But I thought the difference there, look at the head of steam he got going. Straight north and south. Well blocked up front too, and just took it to the house.
He's got 132 yards rushing tonight, which sounds good. 124 have come on 2 touchdown runs.
Yeah. But you know, great running backs usually get better as the game goes by. You know, remember Evan Hall here for Maple Grove. He's one of those guys that would get 35, 40 carries, seemed to get better as the night would go on. And with a guy like Derek Jamison, just keep feeding him because he's got that ability anytime he touches it.
Jamison to kick off for the Crimson back to receive.
Still see a packed house. Fans haven't left. There is not a seat to be had on the Maple Grove sideline. What a great crowd, great atmosphere here tonight.
21-3 Maple Grove. They have turned the tables here in the second half.
Would you have thought either of these teams would get into the 20s after that first half, the way both defenses had played?
Lenort on the kick return to the 20, met and dropped there at the 22. Kick coverage has really been good tonight. Scanson on the special teams tackle.
Well, they haven't, you know, both sides, but especially Maple Grove, these aren't soft tackles either. I mean, these are physical tackles. Really, both teams doing an excellent job of making tackles, but Maple Grove in particular, and Sawyer Scanson too, has just been all over the field tonight.
Well, what can Wayzata dial up? I mean, they got a lot of
the problem is
to make up here.
When you get down big, you feel like you got to get it all back on one play, and Maple Grove just not allowing those big plays downfield. Got to take the short passes, got to keep running the ball, just take what the defense is giving you.
And that's what they do on the first play, and they get it out past the 35 to the tight end, Jack Kinsey, senior, with his first catch tonight.
I'll tell you, if I'm attacking Maple Grove going forward, you know, in future games, their secondary's solid. They're playing at good depth, nothing behind them, and those linebackers often are coming up and blitzing. That first level, that 5 to 7 yard passes with your tight ends or your fullbacks are going to be there. You just got to take it.
Good job by Cockrell bouncing off the initial would-be tacklers and getting all the way out to the 45 and a pickup of 9. That's a tough run for Dante Cockrell. 2nd and 1.
Well, and if you're a Wayzata fan, you love that. You ain't quitting. You're down 21-3. You guys are still playing hard, still competing, finishing runs. You love to see it.
Seven and a half minutes to play now. 2nd down and 1. Quick throw, a little slant, and that's a first down out to midfield. Pickup of 5, but a new set of downs. Birkeland on the catch, his 7th catch tonight. Last 3 have not been long completions, like some of the ones earlier, but he's certainly the #1 target for Ryan Harvey.
Well, I think if Wayzata could have done that all night, those short intermediate throws, it's not flashy, you're not getting big chunks, but you could move the chains, continue to keep drives going.
Harvey will hand off at the Cockrell and gets a yard to the 49 was all. Nice Tiber in on the stop.
Getting a physical tackle, too, at the end of that run.
We talked about the tackling ability in the pregame, Ryan, how well these teams tackle, and we've seen that tonight.
Yep. You know, and that's fundamentals. You got to have great players, great talent, but so much of this game comes down to blocking and tackling and how well you do that, and both of these teams do it really, really well.
Cockrell trying to find the middle again and can't get anything going. Mason South in on the stop. Tiber again there. 3rd and 9. And that clock continues to move. 6:15 to go.
Well, and here you are getting that 3rd and long, John, and Wayzata has just continually put themselves in that down and distance tonight.
Going deep and well overthrown. Intended for Birkeland. Had him double covered on a lot of plays tonight. That was just the missed pass by Harvey.
When you see Harvey getting pulled up off the ground, he just doesn't have a lot of time either to let that route develop. Keep in mind, too, Ryan Harvey's a 71% passer on the year, so he's not used to having all these incompletions. I think you attribute a lot of that to being under pressure, under duress, and really good coverage, too, on the back end here for Maple Grove.
And down 18 points, you got to go for it here on 4th and 9. Harvey, the fake, roll out and launch another one down the sideline and incomplete. Intended for Birkeland, overshot him by a couple yards. Fahey back in coverage, and Maple Grove takes over on downs at midfield.
Yeah, one of the few times tonight that Harvey actually had time, allowed that route to develop, and looked like Birkeland might have had a step on it, but just overthrown. Just haven't been able to get on that same page, especially on those deep ones down the field. You know, if you hit one of those early, John, the whole complexion of this game possibly changes, but great coverage tonight on the back end by Maple Grove.
1st and 10 Crimson at the 49-yard line with 5:52 to go in the ball game. Maple Grove trying to move to 5-1 on the season. The pitch to Jamison, got some space again, and he's got a first down. Not a touchdown, but a gain of 13.
I just think he's so great when he gets to the outside like that. That was a nice option play. We saw an option, remember a fumble early in the game going to the left. That time going to the right. Great pitch. Kilzer took a shot too after he delivered that, but he's just so fast when he gets to the outside, Jamison is.
From the 38, go between the tackles. Jamison, it's brought down at the 35-yard line. Pickup of 3, but the clock will run.
Does it seem to you too, John, that he's just hitting the hole a little harder, a little quicker in the second half? Running with some power, with some authority too. And
Bo Alber on the tackle. 2nd and 7. Kilzer under center with 5 minutes to go. Allback hit as he got the football and lucky to hang on to it at that point. Keandre Watkins. That was a tackle and a half.
He introduced himself to Tanner Allback right there. That was, again, just good tackling tonight by both teams. You know, and Allback isn't an easy guy to bring down. He's not like he's a little target. He's a big physical running back as well. There's some collisions going on.
3rd and 7 from the 35. 4:20 to go in the ball game. Maple Grove Wildcat again. Jamison scored on this last time, not this time. He dropped for a loss in the backfield as Richlick got there first. Heim there as well, and 4th down. Maple Grove will kick it away here.
Well, Ritzlick did a nice job that time, just grabbing onto the feet of Jamison, holding on, and then his teammates, nice job of finishing it off. Maple Grove will be content here, running the clock here as much as they can, punting and trying to force Wayzata to do something they haven't done all night, and that's drive the length of the football field against their defense.
Oh, good rush, but able to get the kick away and unable to keep it in play. It's a touchback, and Wayzata will take over at the 20, but Peters lucky to get that one off.
Yeah. And that was really close. Jackson Powers almost made a heck of a play there to down that at about the 1 yard line. Great effort.
Wayzata first down and 10 from their 20. 2 timeouts remaining. But more importantly, they're down 18 points here. And not a lot of time left on the game clock. Harvey going down the sideline and incomplete, this time for Diedrich, covered by Anderson.
Well, what you've seen too, John, is just no separation tonight. Those D-backs just running really, really nice.
St. Michael Albertville up big tonight, 38-8. We'll see the Knights here next Friday night here against Maple Grove.
Yeah, that'll be a good matchup.
Harvey getting the throw away. It'll be a short gain, maybe back to the line of scrimmage is all. And it'll be 3rd down and 10.
Well, Mika Vey did a nice job coming off of his guy and adjusting to there and making that tackle. Good gang tackling again.
It's Charlie Tomczyk with his first catch tonight, a pickup of 2.
And then here you're in that 3rd and 8 again, that 3rd and long for Wayzata's offense.
Clock continuing to run with 2:35 to go. On a 3rd down and 10 for Wayzata. And now, take time out.
Well, for those of you that might think this game is over, remember it wasn't too long ago we had a Maple Grove St. Michael Albertville game similar to this, right? And we saw the Crimson score, onside kick, score, onside kick, score. So that might not ever happen again, but I always keep that in mind. I still get people, John, coming up to me asking me about that game. That was still one of the most magical things we've gotten to broadcast. That was fun.
Well, Wayzata's got to get 1 before they can get 2 and 3. They face down a 3rd and 10 here from their own 22.
When you got to start thinking, just where do you go? Where do you go to get yards? You know, you can't run the football. Coverage has been good down the field. There's just right now nowhere to go offensively.
A lot of defensive backs here as Harvey will look to throw on 3rd down. Gets a completion out to the 40-yard line to the 42. It's Lenort with the catch. They had a nice pickup there of 20 yards.
Yeah, love that route. Love that throw. Well protected. That time Harvey had time, got to step into his throw. And it wasn't a shot way down the field. It was a very nice route and throw. Big 1st down.
Play action. Harvey flushed out of the pocket and down he goes. He tackle for loss in the sack. Loholtz on the tackle with a loss of 3.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to fake a short throw to Berkland and maybe set up Alfaro Diedrich down the field or Lenort down the field, but just not enough time to allow that to happen.
Senior defensive end gets his first sack tonight. Down to 1:40 to go. 2nd down and 12. Harvey throwing. Berkland the catch. And down he goes at the 40. They've allowed certainly some catches, but the been tough in between the tackles, whether it's run or pass, for Wayzata tonight. And that seemingly sure tackling on virtually every play for Maple Grove has made a difference. Only gain of 1 there.
Well, the thing, too, is Birkland and Alfaro Diedrich, those guys are so electric with the football in their hands. They just haven't been able to get anything going, making guys miss, making plays after the catch. Just been nothing.
Harvey will throw to Cockrow, and Scanson brings him down. Gain of 4. Scanson a little slow to get up. Looks like he'll be all right.
Yeah.
Boy, they cannot afford to lose. Another captain. Aiden McMahon has been sitting on the bench since his injury.
Oh, this linebacker core for Maple Grove, they're fast, they're physical, they're good tacklers, they cover so much ground. They can play the run, they've shown they can play the pass too. They're just all over the field.
4th down, here it is for Wayzata. Harvey going down the field and just out of the reach of Lenord. He was open. And the throw a little long, as a lot of them have been for Wayzata tonight. And that will do it.
Well, we've seen a couple of those too where it's got a guy beat just a little bit overthrown. That one maybe a little bit out of bounds too, but
Ryan will head down and be hearing from the Crimson after this game. "18 seconds left on the game clock." Kneel down for Kilser and the Crimson. And what a second half for Maple Grove. Trailing 3-0, playing strong defense in the first half, but their offense missing on some opportunities. They get some huge plays in the second half, especially on offense. 2 long touchdown runs for Derek Jameson for scores. And then the touchdown pass, Cole Newell to Jacob Kilser on the trick play. And the defense holds up all night. Does not allow a touchdown. Wayzata's been held without a touchdown now for 2 weeks in a row. And the Crimson win it by a score of 21-3 to move to 5-1 on the season. And Wayzata dropping to 4-2 with the loss here. Great team effort by the Crimson. And Wayzata's, defense, they gave up a couple of those big plays, but for the most part tonight, they were pretty good. But their offense unable to get anything going this evening. Few pass plays to Birkland. 1 first half run by Cockrow of 25 yards, but their run game was pretty much stymied by the Crimson defense. And Wayzata go back to the drawing board and hope for better things here coming up in week 7. We'll take a timeout. We'll have our post game coming up in a moment. Maple Grove wins it tonight over Wayzata. 21-3, Crimson the final.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Crimson win on homecoming, 21-3 the final. Ryan Iverson standing by with one happy Maple Grove player.
Well, I'm with Sawyer Scanson. Sawyer, we thought about having Derek Jameson, had the 2 big runs, obviously. But I thought really the MVP of this game was your defense as a whole, starting with you. You were all over the field. What was the game plan tonight going against Wayzata?
I mean, it was kind of just hit him in the mouth. I mean, we played a tough Centennial team a couple weeks back, and that was our only loss. And I mean, biggest key of that game was just tackling, and we came out and I think we tackled him today, pushed him back, and good team win.
Well, one of the things with Wayzata, they usually are pretty physical up front. They can run the football, sets up play action. They couldn't sniff a yard running the football against you. Was that kind of the key of just let's stop the run to start with and trust our guys on the back end?
Oh, for sure. I mean, our first job was to stop the run, and I think we did a pretty good job of that. And we let our corners and safeties go to work, and we ended up with a couple picks, and it really worked out for us.
Tonight, homecoming, you had a great crowd, a good rivalry game. What did that feel like for you with this energy in this crowd?
Oh, I mean, it was amazing. This is my first homecoming game as a starter because last year we didn't have one because of COVID, and it was just amazing energy. Love having all the boys out here supporting, and it was just a lot of fun.
Big win this week. You got St. Michael Albertville next week. What are your expectations for this team going forward?
I think we got to win it out. We had our one loss, and we kind of learned from it. We're going to build from it, and we're going to come even better each game.
If you're going to lose, you want to lose earlier, right?
Exactly.
We'll get in there and celebrate. Congratulations on a great game. You bet. Back to you, JJ.
All right, thanks, Ryan, and thanks to all of our crew, and congratulations to Maple Grove on a great effort defensively all night, and some huge plays in the second half from their offense, and they put away a good Wayzata team here this evening. That will do it for our telecast. For all of our crew and for Ryan Iverson, I'm John Jacobson. Final score again tonight here from Maple Grove. It's the Crimson. They go to 5-1 on the season and beat Wayzata 21-3.